Vikings fans, we are so close to 5,000 subscribers, which is a huge milestone here at Chat Sports. Go down, help us get there by the start of training camp. Go down, hit that big red subscribe button. Vikings Now is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Our newest sponsor here at Chat Sports is the cell phone provider owned by famous actor Ryan Reynolds, and they're offering cell phone plans that start as low as $15 per month. We'll tell you a little bit more about them later on in today's show. But we begin with Colin Cowherd, who appears to be pretty high on the Vikings this season, as we discussed on a previous show. But since he has doubled down on his support of the Minnesota Vikings, here is what he said recently. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a big year. I think the Vikings are going to have an exceptional year, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say 13-4 or 14-3. I know you think I'm out of my mind. Don't trust the Chicago Bears. Don't trust the Detroit Lions. And since Kirk Cousins has been there, they have always played Aaron Rodgers straight up. Colin might be on to something, I'm telling you, because nobody else in the national media is talking about the Vikings as a contender, but Colin Cowherd is. And yes, he says 13-4, maybe 14-3, and that sounds like a dream. But you look at the schedule. They start at the Packers. They start against the Packers. That's going to be tough, but it's at home. Then they go to an Eagles team that is okay, Monday Night Football. Then Lions at home, Saints in London, so neutral site. Then the Bears, then the Dolphins in Miami. They have a bye week 7, and then the Cardinals at home week 8. Then they go to Washington, then Buffalo. Then they play host to the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots, of course, on Thanksgiving. That stretch of games might be the toughest the Vikings see this season. And then week 13, they play the Jets. Then they go to Detroit to play the Lions. And when you're talking about the Lions and the Bears, I think those are two teams that you should go 4-0 against. And then week 15 is against the Colts. Week 16 versus the Giants. Week 17 at Lambeau in the cold. That's going to be very tough in Green Bay. And then week 18, they play the Bears in Chicago to wrap up the season. But the NFC North is weak. The Bears are not good. The Bears are just not a good football team. The Lions will be better, but they're still going to be the Lions. And then the Packers will be very good, but not as good as they were last year. So go down and predict it. Who wins the NFC North? Is it the Green Bay Packers, type GB? Is it the Chicago Bears, type CHI? If it's the Vikings, which I'm assuming a lot of y'all think so, type MIN down in the comments. Or is it the Lions, type DET? It is the pinned comment on today's video. When ad break comes, go down. Let me know what you think. I think when you look at the North, you're looking at a two-team race between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. The Lions and the Bears are not going to be in contention to win the division this year. The Packers and the Vikings will be. And also keep in mind with Green Bay, Devontae Adams is gone. Nobody is going to be able to replace the level of production that Adams brought to the table. They lose arguably the best wide receiver in football. It's going to be interesting to see what the Packers do this season, but the Vikings can absolutely challenge the Packers in the NFC North. Before we get into our next story, I want to tell you about our friends at Mint Mobile because they are bringing you unlimited talking text, high-speed data, a mobile hotspot, and most importantly, plans starting at $15 per month. And look, with inflation, we're all looking for ways to save money. Mint Mobile is a way you can do that. Cell phone plans with exceptional data, LTE, 5G. It's going to switch back and forth, whatever network is the strongest. That is why you need to make the switch. Start saving today at mintmobile.com/chatsports. That's the link you got to go to get that $15 per month deal. Again, mintmobile.com/chatsports. That link is going to be in the comments and the description of this video. Let's talk about Kirk Cousins because this is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in football. Another example we're seeing of that is his Madden rating. He's not even in the top 15. let's break down these QBs. So Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patty Mahomes, can't disagree that those are the top 3 QBs in the NFL. Going more in depth here in terms of this list, I'm looking at a lot of quarterbacks that they perhaps lowballed. Herbert, in my opinion, should be higher than 88. Lamar should be higher than an 87. Burrow should be higher than a 90. So Kirk Cousins maybe not the only quarterback that was a little bit lowballed by Madden. As we continue with our list here, Kirk doesn't even crack the top 15. He's the 16th ranked quarterback with an 80 overall grade. Freaking Matt Ryan and Ryan Tannehill are ahead of Kirk Cousins. There is so much wrong with this list. I mentioned I felt like Herbert and maybe Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow were a little bit lowballed, but nothing is worse and more disrespectful than Kirk Cousins' rating because he is so much better than Matt Ryan and Ryan Tannehill. The Titans don't feel confident in Tannehill. That's why they drafted Malik Willis. Matt Ryan, I guess he's going to a pretty good situation in Indianapolis, but he's washed. He is not the Matt Ryan we once knew. When you look at the stats compared to Matt Ryan and Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins' stats are significantly better. More touchdowns, more yards, fewer interceptions. No doubt that he is the best quarterback amongst these 3. Now go down, pick a quarterback. Who is the best QB amongst these 3? If it's Kirk Cousins, type C. If it's Matt Ryan, type R. Or if it's Ryan Tannehill, type T. Down in the comment section. And while you're down there, go and subscribe and make sure your notifications are set to all. Because if the Vikings make a move, any Vikings news whatsoever, we're going to make a video about it, and you don't want to miss anything. So go down and subscribe and turn on your notifications. Let's get into our next story, and that is about ESPN ranking the best offensive playmakers on each NFL team, composed of wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends. And the wide receiver, is weighted a little bit more than the running back and tight end positions. Here is what they said. Top 5 offensive playmakers. Which team has the best playmakers? The Bengals were ranked number 1, followed by the Raiders and the 49ers. The Vikings were number 4. Let's break down this article. Here's what ESPN said. One of the great mysteries of the 21st century will be why the Vikings waited until week 3 of his 2020 rookie season to start Justin Jefferson. Since entering the lineup that week, Jefferson leads all NFL players with over 2,900 receiving yards. The only wideouts to average more yards per target over that stretch are Devontae Adams and Deebo Samuel. Jefferson combines remarkable efficiency with his relentless volume, and if reports are correct, his role in the offense might grow further under new head coach Kevin O'Connell in 2022. Look, JJ is a baller, man, and he was an absolute steal. If you're a Vikings fan, I know you're thanking the Philadelphia Eagles every single day for passing on this guy because he has been one of the most explosive wide receivers since coming into the league. Over 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, nearly 200 receptions in his first 2 seasons. If you watch this guy play at LSU, it is shocking how far he fell in the first round in 2021. Here is what ESPN also said. Dalvin Cook is a known quantity as a running back who will miss a handful of games each season and play at a high level otherwise. Alexander Mattison has been a solid backup, although he wasn't as effective in 2021. The Vikings will also get back Irv Smith Jr. after the tight end missed all of 2021 with a torn meniscus, while KJ Osborne has been a solid third wideout and should feature regularly this season. The Cook-Madison combo is great because ESPN brings up a good point about Dalvin's injury history. So to have a really reliable number 2 behind him is extremely important, and the Vikings have that in Alexander Mattison. Now, they also have Kene Nwangwu as well, who is expected to have an increased role this season. They got Ty Chandler in the draft, so they have a really, really solid running back room right now, one of the best in the entire NFL. ESPN continued saying, for most teams, the biggest question is a young player. Here, it's 31-year-old wideout Adam Thielen, who is now 3 years removed from his last 1,000-yard campaign and missed time in December with a left high ankle sprain. Thielen returned from the injury and immediately re-aggravated the ailment, which is even more worrisome. Similar high ankle sprains have failed in the past veterans such as Michael Thomas, Roddy White, and Mohamed Sanu. So while the hope has been that Thielen returns at his prior level of play in 2022, I'm more than a little concerned. I am a little bit too, but I think Thielen will continue to ball out. And this is a really big year for him, and he's kind of the second wide receiver right now behind JJ. And it has been a few years since he was really in the thick of his prime, but I still think this is going to be a pretty significant season for Thielen because when he's on the field, he is very dynamic. He can make plays for your football team. 24 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. He is still a very, very high-level wide receiver. When you're talking about the offense in general, it is going to be very, very scary. I think Kirk Cousins is going to come out playing with his hair on fire a little bit this season. He has Kevin O'Connell, who is going to support him, who really is going to buy in to what Kirk Cousins can do. He has Thielen, he has Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison. This is going to be a very, very dangerous and explosive Vikings offense. Now, if you're excited for this offense, go down, hit that thumbs up icon, give us a like on this video if you're excited to see what Kirk Cousins and the boys can do. Appreciate you all watching today's video. Again, go down and subscribe. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers.